In this video, we uncover the disturbing case of Jolene Cummings, a beloved mother who vanished without a trace in Uli, Nassau County, Florida. Jolene Jensen Cummings lives with her 3 children. She is 34 years old. People who knew her said she was fun and always up for doing something social. They also said she was loyal, caring, and kind. Motherhood was her favorite job, and she was very proud of her kids. She broke up with her boyfriend after giving birth to her daughter and decided she wanted a new start. She started working at Tangles Hair Salon in Uli, Florida, and quickly got used to her new job. Fans loved her. And Jim, her boss, said she was great with clients and could talk to anyone. After that, she married Jason Cummings, and they had 2 boys together. She had more things to do than ever before. But in 2017, she and her husband Jason decided to split up and work on a plan for child custody together. He was also named Jason, and they were together for a short time before they broke up after a lot of fights. People who knew her said it was sad because she was a nice girl and her relationships weren't working out. But Jolene didn't let anything bother her. She was now focused on her kids and her job, wanting to start over and make things better. Before we go any further, I'd love to know which country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this true crime deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Now, let's get into the case. Jolene had a full day planned at Tangles on May 12, 2018. So, she went about her everyday life. She was already excited about leaving work at 5 p.m. and getting ready for the next day. Not only was it her birthday, but it was also Mother's Day. She was excited to spend the day with her kids and read everyone's birthday wishes. The day would be a real family day as she and her kids made a gift for her mom, Anne. Instead, she never showed up for the meeting with her ex-husband the next morning to get their kids. That day, Saturday, was her busiest. She had a lot of things to do and she may have just slept too much. But after a day, Jolene's friend said she wasn't there because they hadn't heard from her. She also didn't have her car, her bank records didn't show any activity, and her phone only went to voicemail. Jim, her boss, said that Jolene loved her kids more than anything, and that she would not have left without something being very wrong. We're all very worried because she hasn't been seen in a long time. Those kids were her life, and I refuse to believe she just ran away, he said. Wants to hear from anyone who went to the Tangles Salon in Fernandina Beach last Saturday. They're looking for information into the disappearance of a mother who disappeared last Sunday. Jolene Cummings was supposed to pick up her 3 kids on Mother's Day, but she never arrived. Today, neighbors banded together in Hilliard to search for her. Yeah, and friends are telling me this just doesn't sound like her to disappear on Mother's Day without her 3 kids. Now, friends say this is where she works right here, Tangles Hair Salon, and this is where deputies say she was last seen leaving here on Saturday night around 5. Deputies say she may be driving a 2006 beige Ford Expedition with the Florida license plate, number 035KBBQ. A client also tells me she got her hair done on Friday by Cummings, and she seemed fine. And she even talked about painting and crafting with her kids on Mother's Day. And I just spoke to Cummings' boss here just a couple of minutes ago, and he says they are very worried. Something is just not right. We know there's somebody out there that knows where she's at, and will do the right thing and give us a call so we can let her come home to her family. Down the street, neighbors like Lexi are also on the lookout for the young mother. Their first choice was to talk to her ex-husband, Jason C., and her on and off boyfriend, Jason G. Jason C. was worried and willing to help, so he went down to the station right away. As they worked through the breakup, he said things got rough, but his family came first, and he had a lot of respect for her. He was afraid of Jason G. because he called him a junkie and said he had heard bad things about the people he hung out with. He told the cops they could search his house, phone, and car, among other things. He had nothing to hide at all. They were sure he wasn't involved because he had a good excuse and they looked around his place. But it was harder to find Jason G. A neighbor of Jolene said that 3 days before she disappeared on May 9th, she heard things breaking and Jolene telling her kids to shut the bedroom door. She called the police because there were alarms going off, but Jason G. ran away as soon as he heard them. They knew he was wanted on an outstanding warrant anyway, so this was a good tip. Jason G. was finally caught by officers hiding under some cardboard boxes inside a house. He was arrested for breaking the terms of his probation. He said they got into a fight after he showed up without being invited and asked to stay. He got angry and started smashing things when she told him no. The police asked him about the scratches and marks on his arm, but he said they were from playing with his dog. It was his choice what they could check, and he also agreed to take a polygraph. Now that he lost his phone, he couldn't tell them where he'd been in the last few days, so he couldn't give them an excuse. He said he wanted a lawyer when the cops told him how this all looked to them. He was named as someone who might know something about her disappearance. Just a couple of hours earlier, deputies arrested Cummings' ex-boyfriend, Jason G., who had a warrant out for a probation violation. But deputies say he is not talking. Investigators say he was found near a wooded area in Hilliard, where deputies were searching Monday night after receiving a tip. They say G and several others are persons of interest in the DISAP. It was annoying that tips didn't come in very often and didn't lead to anything. This story had a lot of holes in it. The first clue the police got was on May 16th when they found Jolene's Ford SUV parked in a Home Depot lot about 2 miles from her shop. It was parked there at 1:15 a.m., which is several hours after Jolene would have finished her shift, according to security video from the area. After parking the car, a person dressed in black ran away. They finally got a very clear picture of the figure by following it from camera to camera. A few minutes later, a woman dressed in black walked into a petrol station and asked to borrow a phone to call a taxi. She was there for a short time and then left. It was clear that she was driving Jolene's car. If the goal was to steal it, then why leave it parked? That night, the person who served her said it was one of the strangest talks he'd ever had. A lot of time had been spent talking about what meth does to your body and telling people about the night she drank before getting in her cab. She talked and talked and talked. I'm Detective Rose with the Sheriff's Office. Hello? I needed to speak to you about, someone that you had contact with the other night. You're not in trouble for nothing. Okay, I don't even know. Can we sit down for a second? Of course. Okay, there was a female that came into the store the other night. Right here, yes. And y'all sat there and talked for a little bit on video. Yeah. She had me, call her a taxi. She had you call her a taxi. Can you tell me what your conversation was with her? She said something about how she was out with a couple of friends, drinking, and one of the friends' ex-boyfriends came around. There'd been some kind of problem. She didn't go into detail for it much after that. And to be honest, I don't even know how she got to the store because she didn't call her a taxi. And then 10-15 minutes later, she was gone. The taxi came and picked her up, took her said somewhere to like a Plant Fitness. Okay, that was around us. She went into this really weird conversation about what meth does to your body. Literally, this is what most of our conversation was about. What meth does, it was really weird. Even though the cams were still being looked into, a full inspection of the salon painted a very bad picture. There were big pools of blood all over the place, and someone had tried to clean them up, but the luminol could see right through them. They had no choice but to accept that Jolene was indeed dead and had been killed in this shop. They were now sure that it wasn't Jason G. or a chance break-in. Jim, the manager of the salon, showed the cops the work schedule. Jennifer Seibert, another stylist, was the last person who worked with Jolene. When the police came to talk to Jennifer, she wasn't there, even though she was supposed to be there that day. Jennifer was just pulling into the parking lot when Jim called her. She looked at the cops for a second and then drove away. Then she told Jim she was leaving, that they would never see her again, and she wanted her last paycheck. When detectives showed the salon's guests the CCTV video from the petrol station, they all said right away that it was Jennifer, even though her hair was different. There was no such address as the one Jim gave them, and they had no idea where Jennifer was at the time. It was seen that she parked Jolene's car and didn't answer the phone when called. She was also the last person to see Jolene. Jen Cyber had only worked at the shop for a little over a month and stayed to herself. Most people in the area didn't know much about her because she was new there. There was no doubt that Jennifer did not like Jolene. One customer said that Jennifer just walked in on Jolene while she was washing her hair and was very rude to her for no reason. This kind of mean behavior was seen a lot by other co-workers. It looked like the new girl was bothering everyone. Someone who works with Jolene said Jennifer was crazy and made everyone nervous. Her behavior and the way she looked all the time made her mind wander to strange places. I felt like she killed somebody and she's on the run. She stated, simply put, this was a family-friendly spa in a small town, and Jennifer did not belong there, nor did she want to. Someone who used to work for her said she was crazy and had a lot of odd habits. She once ate a pound of beef with her naked hands and then stormed out, stomping on some sliced lemons on the way out. She never came back. Before working at Tangles, she worked at another salon where her co-workers said they didn't like working with her very often. People were scared of her because she was paranoid and had big mood swings. They also knew she got the job by lying, which made everyone nervous. A couple of days before she disappeared, Jolene was heard telling Jennifer, "Go away. I don't like you. You're crazy. You're fake." She is really just bad-mouthing everyone. Jolene texted another friend about Jennifer. "I want to stay away from her because she's being so negative." I can't quite put my finger on it, but she seems a little off. After leaving a beef for Jennifer's car, they were able to find her. She was a long way away and sleeping in her car at a petrol station. She looked like she'd been in a fight because of the wounds on her face and body. She was caught on a charge of car theft, but there was more to it than that. All eyes were on Jennifer Sibbert, but then they realized they weren't talking to Jennifer Seibert. They were talking to Kimberly Kessler, whose mother had reported her missing in Butler County in 2004. "My name's Wayne. This is Charlie. We want to talk to you for a few minutes. What name do you want me to call you with? I was talking to the detective that drove you up, and he said I might have been calling you by the wrong. When you run my fingerprints through, they come up as Kimberly Lee Kessler. I was born in May of 1968, May 9th. I am 50 years old. I've been living under this particular alias since 1999. So, not quite 1999. This is 18, about 19 years. So I would prefer to be called Kim." "Okay. But, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm calling you, by your right now. But if you run them through, I mean, the last time I got picked up was back in 1999, and I bonded out, and it took him, I don't remember, it was a couple weeks. So, I don't know if it was 2.5 weeks or 3.5 weeks before they actually, mashed them up. Yeah, it didn't but that was 1999, so maybe it was a little bit slower then, but I don't know. There's lots of people on the face of the planet, so maybe it still takes time." They asked her why she had left town and changed her name. Kimberly said it was so her ex wouldn't be able to find her. After reading the name on a grave, she decided on Jennifer Seibert. However, Jennifer was a little girl who had died in a car accident. Even though the story was already strange, this wasn't the only time she changed her name. There were 25 different names for Kimberly Kessler, 5 driver's licenses in 33 places in 14 states, and fake Social Security numbers. She also changed a lot about how she looked by cutting and dyeing her hair and wearing different wigs before she moved away and started a new life. Just go through when you work with her on that Saturday, so I can. Is there anything you can tell me did she ever talk to you about a boyfriend? I know she's got a husband. I know she had a boyfriend. Did she ever talk about anybody she was scared of? Did she ever say anything that she wanted to run away and get away from it all? I mean, I don't remember hearing anything. She would have different conversations sometimes with different clients. She was saying CPS came to her house. She was telling one client that I caught a little blip of it in between. Listen, YouTube and the phone ringing, and I remember hearing her say she thought her ex-husband or her husband was doing to get out of paying child support. That's all I heard. And I don't remember ever hearing about a boyfriend ever. But then again, I don't always really pay attention. Tell you who she was hanging around with, or was she into anything that maybe she shouldn't. She would just say to me the time or two that she'd say, "I'm just going home and having a quiet night at home," or "I don't have the kids tonight," or, whatever, "I'm just going to enjoy this." She said she didn't know where Jolene was and wouldn't even say she stole her car, even though the cameras made it very clear she did. At one point, she accused Jolene of being a meth user for no reason, which everyone thought was crazy, but I did find a bag that I believe had crystal meth in it. Just a little bit in the bottom, a tiny baggie, back by the back door. Did you guys ever hang out after work? To ever go anywhere together? The video of you dropping her car off at the Home Depot parking lot there in Julie, and walking across and going into the Gates station and getting a taxi cab back down to, they had it listed as Dick's Swings, but it was back down there to where Tangles is. Okay. And that's why you're charged with a grand theft dollar. And I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to fool you. You're opening up to me and I'm opening up to you. Okay. That's the reason you're charged with that. You're not charged with anything else. Okay. But something happened to Joey. When they thought things were going well, they put more pressure on Kimberly and she asked for a lawyer. Something that you didn't plan happened. But let me tell you what we did, okay? Because I just want to be honest with you, because I think something bad happened that you didn't intend to happen. But, I don't think you're an evil person. I don't think you're a mean person. I think you have done one hell of a job getting through the last 25 years. So let me reply this way, and you may not like the answer. This did not bother the cops, though, because more CCTV was beginning to fill in the blanks. Putting bags in the trash cans near the back of the shop on the day Jolene went missing. They wanted to know where the trucks had taken the bins after they were empty. Their search led them to a huge dump with nearly 4 million pounds of trash. Their hearts sank. They knew this was going to be impossible. They found the lid to a big plastic container in the woods near the bins. They were shocked at how much they had found when they finally found Kim's real address and a storage unit she had just rented. A lot of things were stained with blood. It only took a short time to see that the DNA matched Jolene, and they found her fingernail in the rest of the pot. There was also more blood in a bag that had knives in it. Some of the blood found in the studio was now proven to belong to both Kimberly and Jolene. They thought the scissors were used to kill the person. As Kimberly looked through her phone again, she found that she had taken pictures of a notebook where she had written a huge list of names. One of the names was the same age as a high school ex-boyfriend. Satan, witch, and evil were written next to some of them. Kimberly would often write down her dreams and talk about devils, Jesus, and people who were following her. Nobody, no crime, female serial killers, and Jolene's name were some of the words she searched for on her computer. 6 different wigs and a few other phones were found in her house. When different people who knew her talked about her, they painted a picture of a scary and angry woman. She told her ex-boyfriend that she had killed her own cat with a shotgun, and that as a child she had threatened to hit someone's brother while he was sleeping with a baseball bat. What she said was very serious. Even though Kimberly had a good case, they still didn't know where Jolene's body was. They would get an idea from more cams inside the Walmart. Video showed Kimberly buying things for $30, like an electric knife, ammonia, and zip ties. It was around 9 p.m., 4 hours after Jolene should have finished her shift, and they thought she had already been killed. After that, Kimberly drove back to the salon. At 11 p.m., she was seen putting some very big bags in the trash. The cops said that the electric knife and the large amount of blood in the salon made them think that Kimberly had cut up Jolene and put her body parts in bags. For the second time on May 22nd, cops told the press that they were still looking for Jolene, but knew she would not be coming home alive. In addition to following up on all leads and evidence we were receiving, this individual was known as Jennifer Seibert. We have subsequently found out that Seibert's real name is Kimberly Kessler. Through our investigation, we have obtained evidence which we are not releasing at this time, which leads us to believe Jolene is not alive. Kessler is a suspect in the disappearance of Jolene Cummings. Sunday was a special day, not only for Mother's Day, but it was her birthday. She was born on Mother's Day. God gave me this special blessing after my firstborn infant son Richard was buried. I beg you as a mother to please keep coming forward, no matter how small. My 3 grandchildren who miss her so much. Based on Kimberly's search history and the fact that Jolene was last seen on a day when the salon was closed for 2 days, they thought she had been planning to kill her for a few days. The police were sure she planned it so she could clean up and think of her next move. Even though Kimberly Kessler was in handcuffs, She was chatting and laughing like she was with friends. She was charged with the first-degree murder. No, they feel great. You can put them on tighter if you want. Whatever you want to do, at your mercy, so have as much fun as you'd like. She talked to reporters and her mother a lot from jail. She was still denying everything. And being in jail didn't seem to bother her at all. This is a prepaid call from Ken Clare, an inmate at the Nassau County Jail. He told me that he thought you were involved. They think you're involved in the missing person there. So, if you can, or if you want to, please, bail me out. And I will. I'm just wonder I'll answer. I just got interrupted on the phone with a little message that they're going to disconnect the call again. It's kind of funny. They keep me in solitary confinement. Like it's a bad thing. It's heaven, girl. I love it. Tom told me today that, I was the front page of the newspaper. I'm all over the news. I guess I'm still the talk of the town or something. Why would that be starting up again? There's absolutely nothing going on in the world. I say it's because it's the Illuminati. I think that, her people definitely are _ seriously involved in it. So, that's just what is happening. So, I got the Illuminati on my ass, again, I can't prove it. It's just my opinion. And what little bit I've seen on YouTube about some of the research I was doing on these secret societies is nobody gets even 5 minutes worth or 5 seconds worth of airtime unless they have some sort of connection. So, well, her stepdad, I don't know what's going on with him, if he's still in the hospital or what's up, but normally to attain a position like he was running the jail, you gotta be usually a mason or whatever. You gotta be in a secret society to hold, I'm sure he is. If he's running the jail, I'm sure he is. They don't have anything on because it's all _ somebody's just trying to. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're trying to collect on an insurance policy is what they're trying to do. And they have to have the insurance company's not going to _ just pay them. They didn't. They _ they didn't set. They tried to set me up, but they didn't set me up that good, obviously, because the insurance company, they have to go to all this trouble to try to make me look bad. But I don't know what happened. All I know is that I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with it. I have no idea, what they're doing. Yeah. I think they just look for excuses, too, to rob and steal, because they just do all kinds of _ They took the clothes I was wearing off my back and my shoes and stole them. My rings and my jewelry, I only had 2 rings and 1 bracelet gone. _ gone. It was in my bag that they say they confiscated as evidence, but they didn't list it, and so someone pocketed that. They just use excuses to steal. I don't even know if my motorcycle is even in my storage unit. I don't know if any of my _ that's worth any value is in there. I have no idea because they're thieves. She said she wasn't guilty, and as the weeks went by and the state built their case, Kimberly's behavior became more strange, illogical, and hard to predict. It's fine. Just put me back on myself. I want to get rid of the public defender's office. Yeah, exactly. Jordan Beard is Johnson's nephew. Jordan Beard is Julia's cousin. Officers at the jail said she would often strip naked and spit on the window of her cell. One time she went on a hunger strike and had to be stopped with pepper spray because she was afraid someone was going to poison her. After she said she wasn't mentally fit to stand trial, she lost 96 pounds and was now only 74 pounds. Later, the judge said Kimberly could understand what was being said against her. The sheriff told her she was having fun and acting crazy. She always thought that she was the smartest person in the room and she knew exactly what she was doing. A mental nurse told her that her actions were smart and well thought out, but not quite enough for people who know what they're doing. The decision makes people who knew Jolene feel better. After 3 months, it was finally decided that she would go to trial. No one was surprised that things would not go smoothly. The man, who is now 53 years old, refused to take part in any hearings and often caused problems in court. Even her own lawyers couldn't get her to help them. Public Defender's Office, I refuse them. I have refused them. I refuse the Public Defender's Office. They appointed Jordan Beer, Jolie Fleming's cousin, as my public defender. They appointed Jolie Fleming's cousin as my public defender. What? You don't want the public to know that? You don't want them to know. Maybe she has been removed from courtroom. She will be downstairs as she's been through the proceedings thus far. But this was about getting justice for Jolene, and the judge would not stand for this. Everything went on as planned, and Kimberly watched most of the trial from a different room through a video link. The government had a few ideas about what happened. One was that Jolene didn't trust the person she thought was Jennifer. She knew something was wrong and was after her. She had already challenged her by calling her a fake, and Kimberly's years of hiding were beginning to catch up with her. She couldn't risk being found out. Another idea was that Kimberly was also very envious of Jolene's life and how much her clients loved her. She just wanted Jolene to leave. Yes, her public attorney said it was clear there had been a fight. He didn't say anything else, but he said that the state could not prove premeditation in order to get a first-degree murder sentence. Also, there was still no one to prove a time of death or cause of death, aka verdict count 1-degree murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder, as Kimberly Kessler was found guilty of murder in the first degree and grand theft auto. She was given a life sentence in jail with no chance of getting out. Kimberly was moved to a different jail, which made the people who had been dealing with her feel a lot better. She's evil. She's evil in the flesh. I want her behind out of our jail because we are fed up with her crap. It's the state's problem from now on. I don't for 1 second believe that Kimberly Kessler, or whatever name she's going by today, I don't believe this is her first murder. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate her homegoing because her new home for the rest of her life and until she takes her last breath. So, I've been assured she'll be on the first bus tomorrow out of town, and when she leaves, we're going to have cake and ice cream. If you could find it within your heart to tell us where the remains of my daughter, where are the remains of my daughter? Give us some closure. Jolene's body parts have never been found, and it doesn't look like they ever will be. Tangles Hair Salon closed for good after 10 years of business, but the company that owned the lease wouldn't work with them anymore. The owner and his co-workers said that too much had happened for them to continue without Jolene. It would not be the same. It's too heartbreaking without Jolene. The company said on Facebook at this point. Jolene's daughter lives with her grandmother, Anne, and her kids live with Jason, her ex-husband. One time, Jason talked about how he fell in love with her because she was such a good mom to her daughter. He makes sure their kids always talk about her because she taught him how to be a good dad. Another person asked, "What would you say to Jolene if you had one more chance?" "I don't even think you'll have enough film in that camera." He said, "The world doesn't feel as safe as it used to." Anne said, "Grief is just the beginning when your child is killed, but she still hears her daughter talking to her and directing her. There are pictures of Jolene all around the kids. I know that Jolene's spirit is here watching over her children, even though her soul is in heaven. Mom, do this or that. Kiss and hug the kids for me," she sometimes says. It makes me laugh and cry at the same time. Thanks for watching. If this case left you stunned, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'll be back soon with more true crime stories that uncover the darkest truths. Stay safe and stay curious.